I don't know how you find anything. Like, you just like come in and throw everything on the counter and then it doesn't move.
It's there ready to be used the next time?
No, put it away.
I interviewed and then was offered the job, and then I was like, well, I'm here, I may as well go ask Mikayla's parents if I can marry their daughter.
Yeah, and you know what they said? They were like, well, that's fine, but there's no take-backs.
I would say the biggest thing for me is that...
Choose wisely. Bingo.
Pretty much covered it. Hit the nail on the head.
Thank you to our parents for just being great role models and helping us with this beautiful day. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and then just our families and friends for all your love and support.
Let's have some fun.
So I was born here in Kearney, and then I was raised in Oconto, Nebraska. I went to Oconto Elementary School until the 4th grade, and it was like an old country school. I was the only kid in my class, and then in 4th grade the school closed, so I went to Sumner Eddyville Miller until I graduated high school. I was very involved in everything: volleyball, basketball, track, FFA, the whole 9 yards. And then after graduation, I went to Hastings for college. I graduated with a diploma in dental assisting and a degree in dental hygiene. I am currently working at a great office in Kearney. So my parents were best friends before they started actually dating. So I learned, you know, your spouse can be the shoulder to cry on, but they can also be your best friend. Definitely what I wanted in a spouse was somebody that I can trust and count on.
Hi, I am Mason Heath. I was born in Weeping Water, Nebraska, born and raised there, graduated from high school in Weeping Water. While I lived there, I had 2 brothers, one older, one younger. After graduating high school, I went to Kearney and graduated from UNK with a teaching degree in math. I know, tough subject. And then I took that and went to Superior, Nebraska and had my first teaching job. And currently I'm in my 2nd year of teaching in Broken Bow and loving it. So growing up, my parents really instilled hard work in us. I always saw my mom working really hard at school because she was a teacher and a coach, and she spent a lot of time there, so I always saw her and loved that. And then my dad just working hard at his job and just never giving up and always working hard to move up in the company he's at. And so that kind of instilled a lot of hard work in myself, along with love for the family. They always showed us tons of love. That's definitely apparent in myself. Love family time, love spending time with family.
Two of my really good high school friends, Zarin and Darius, they kept talking about this Mason kid, and I mean, it was just on and on and on. Mason this, Mason that, and I just was like, no, boys are stupid, and was not interested. One night, it was Zarin's birthday, and he invited me over to have a piece of cheesecake with him, just stop by, say hi. And so I was like, okay, I will, and I swung over there, and this Mason kid was there.
So the first time I met Mikayla, I was playing Monopoly with one of my friends in Kearney.
And he was playing Monopoly at like 2 in the morning. I thought he was a complete nerd, to be honest with you. I mean, who plays Monopoly at 2 in the morning?
I do.
A math teacher? I don't know.
And she shows up and just grabs a piece of cheesecake with her hand and just eats it. And just eats it really fast, demolishes it, 2 in the morning. And I was like, well, that's the one.
Well, it's probably good cheesecake, I don't know.
And then it actually continued to the next day where we met at a party, and it turns out that our friends had set us up and I didn't know about it.
I mean, you were more willing to get to know me than I was you.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Got to know each other, we talked and hung out, and then at the end of the night, he got my Snapchat.
And so I ended up getting her Snapchat, and we've had a snap streak ever since. It's like 1,000 some days or something like that.
And so that's how we began.
I still remember what she looked like both days, wearing a white sweater. That second day we met, and just talking to her all night, and just loved it. Loved it all.
So I was taking my prerequisites for dental hygiene school, and Mason was at UNK at the time for his math degree, and so I was going to school in Hastings, Mason was going to school in Kearney. Yeah, so it was right in the middle of COVID, and he asked me, or told me, he goes, you know, I'd take you on a date, but everything's closed, so.
So our first date, I was at my apartment in Kearney, and I ended up cooking for her. It was like chicken and penne pasta.
Cooked me chicken Alfredo, and
Yeah.
we just watched movies and hung out. And
then we just hung out the rest of the night, watching movies, talking to each other, just really getting to know each other.
For a while thought I was close, but I got thorns and not a rose. But with you I've got a field of wildflowers. I just love being with you.
Mason did not grow up on a farm like me, and so it was all new to him. And I just remember one time he came out and was helping my dad and brother work cattle or something along those lines. I'm not sure what we were doing, and I just remember sitting there thinking, you know, I want this to go further. I can definitely see this as my future. It just meant a lot that he was willing to work cattle for me, and I think he wanted to make it work too. And so I think that was like the main when I knew, you know, was when he was working with my dad and brother.
To know she was the one, it just kind of developed over time. There was like 3 months after we started dating, we went on a trip to Montana with some friends. It was her and I and then another couple. And that was kind of when it felt like we'd been together forever, even though we were only 21 and 20 or something like that. It just felt like we'd been together forever, and like I wanted to be with her for the rest of my life, and it just grew from there. I think that's when it initially started.
Oh, we're dancing all night to our favorite Timberlake tune. I can't stop this feeling. I'm falling for you.
We've been talking about it for a while, and I was like, well, at least go look at some rings. That way I have an idea of the design you want.
So Mason did tell me to go start looking at rings just for like a style and design. So first time I went, I tried on 2 rings and I fell in love with the second ring.
And she texted me and said I found the one. And so I ended up buying that ring in November, and then I wasn't really sure how I was gonna propose. Around Valentine's Day, I didn't have a present for it all. It got like, never looked, just forgot about it. And our friend does pictures on the side. And so I got her, for Valentine's Day, a photo shoot for us.
And I thought it was kind of suspicious because Mason, I don't know, it was a very like thoughtful gift, and he's kind of is always playing on the edge of his seat. Our friend Cambry came and she started taking pictures. You know, we were walking through Sambers, it was cold. And then the very last spot, she told me to stand behind Mason, and Mason would fling me forward for the picture.
So we did it one time and it didn't work because she turned around right away. And I was getting ready to go down and have the ring in my hand. I was like, oh, let's do it again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so then we did it one more time.
So he flung me forward, and then when I turned back around, he was on one knee with the ring I had picked out. Well, I was kind of confused because when I turned around, I was like, did you drop something? Like, and then once I saw that it was actually happening, I was like, oh.
Kind of something that was set up from the start and kind of winged, honestly, but it worked out really well in the end. And then after that photo shoot, I had a whole party planned in Eddyville with her family, my family, friends.
Very meaningful to have everybody there to celebrate with us.
It was a great time. I couldn't imagine it going any other way.
This day on down forever.
Say stubborn.
My teaching handwriting coming out.
Okay, so one word to describe Mason is driven. Anybody that knows Mason would probably say the same thing too. If he puts his mind to something, he's going to do it no matter what pops up or is in his way. Carries over into our relationship and how he's always, you know, wanting to better our relationship, better himself. And so he's just a very driven person.
So I chose big-hearted for Mikayla. I think she has the biggest heart of anyone I know. She's always willing to help everyone and do anything for anybody, even if she doesn't want to do it. This word describes her perfectly. C-O-O-R-D.
Oh, come on, teacher.
Yeah, ED, yeah.
One word to describe our relationship, we chose committed. Our relationship, we've never lived in the same town.
The first 4 months we both lived in Kearney, and since then we've been...
So then I went to school in Hastings, and he was still in school at UNK. And so it wasn't within like the past year that we've actually lived within like 30 miles of each other. And so we definitely always committed to each other, willing to drive and willing to see each other, and we both wanted it to work, so.
Yeah.
I can't take a breath when you're not there. You're my reason, you're my air. You're all I want to have and hope. From this day on down forevermore.
Be patient with me, please. I know I push your buttons and I stress you out sometimes, but please just be patient with me, and I love you.
Mason, I can't wait for all the memories and everything that we do with you by my side. I love you, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
Down forever. Heading out on our own with our hope in the clouds, and we're starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming, we'll keep running, nothing in our way, and we got no reason to wait. Let the journey take you where it wants to. We'll continue to find our way through anything we face. We got what it takes. Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go, with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day, it's ours to take, and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins. Every step, writing stories that seek to be read, taking hold of the moment as we discover every color filled with wonder. Now we finally see we got everything we need. Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go, with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day, it's ours to take, and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins. Heading out on our own with our hope in the clouds. We're starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming now. Here we go, with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day, it's ours to take, and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins. Feels like the first time, every moment I'm with you. You still catch my eye with every little thing you do. It's like a river wild, running as free as it can be. Oh, it's waking up and realizing I'm still in a dream.
take you, Mikayla,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
I take you, Mason,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
before God who brought us together,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for richer or for poor,
in sickness and in health.
and to love and to cherish,
I commit myself to you.
till death shall us part.